Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers.
Touchdown, Auburn!
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown,
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad to see everybody this morning, wherever it is that you're tuning us in, whether it be on Charter 701 or you're tuning us in on social media or YouTube. We love to hear from you each and every Saturday. We'll talk a lot of high school here in the first hour, maybe more 30 minutes-ish and then we'll devote the rest of the show to college because today is Iron Bowl, and Luke will join us at 8 o'clock, so we'll be bringing him in to talk about this Iron Bowl coming up. And, man, the mood and the mindset has changed a lot for this game over the last couple of weeks. So a lot of stuff to get to this morning. Again, no phone calls as we take it to the podcast format here on Saturday Sports Countdown, but we will take your comments on Facebook and YouTube. So make sure you get those in. We're going to go through the scores from last night, the semifinal rounds, 1A through 6A. The entire Super 7 is set next week. Randy and I will be over to call those games along with the rest of our crew. I do want to pause for a second and say our thoughts and prayers go out to a dear friend of ours that's part of our crew in the passing of his wife last night. So, Stacy Mills' family is in our thoughts and prayers. Again, just hate to hear that. Very, very tough situation, especially this time of year. Of course, it's never a good time, but especially around holidays, this close to Christmas, our prayers go out to him and his son and, some peace over the next few weeks.
Yes, he's been fighting this along with Amy for a couple of years now, and you and I've had some broadcasts and many setups over the last couple of years where he's had to run all over the state to get things set up and then go back and be with his wife. So Stacy's as good as they make them. We wouldn't have what we have with the HSA radio network without Stacy Mills. He's been producing for us for well over a decade. He's taken care of us in some spots where if you were tuning in a few minutes before we went on air, you can see firsthand how bad I am technically, and Brett's not a whole lot better. He's better than me. But Stacy gets our broadcast out there and does a tremendous job. So our thoughts and prayers do go with him. He loves high school sports like no other. He loves Prattville like no other. He is the ambassador for Prattville, Alabama. So, Stacy, we're thinking about you, buddy. We love you, and hope that there's some prayers, many prayers coming from around the state for you today. I'm sure there are.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, again, tough situation, but, Stacy's he's a tough guy, and, with a lot of love and support down there, he'll get through this, he and his son, and we'll also be here for him. Glenn already comes in and says congratulations to Coach Burns at Wadley heading to the state championship. We're going to get to that here in just a little bit. We're going to go down these scores and tell everybody, if they weren't able to watch or hear any of those games, how those turned out. So some big football games, and I guess we'll just start in 6A. We'll start that way, and we'll roll down as Saraland knocks off Pike Road 47-10. Saraland, I don't think I was going out on a limb, Randy, yesterday or the day before when I said I didn't think this one would be close, although Pike Road had played better. And it wasn't. This is a couple of years in a row now that Saraland's been able to take care of business pretty easily in the semifinals. They'll take over or they'll take on Parker who beat Oxford 20-7. And Oxford had plenty of chances last night. Let me say that. Whether it be a penalty that killed a drive or, just not executing, but driving down inside Parker territory numerous times and coming away with no points. So Oxford, I know again, tough way to lose, tough way to end your season, but kind of had a feeling going up against a loaded Parker team that it was going to be like this, maybe play out this way, and it did.
Well, they just struggled, as you said, moving the football. Parker is so good on the defensive front. Jordan Crawford, Brett, he's out of this world. I'm very happy that Auburn University is getting him because he already looks the part. You and I called a quarterfinal matchup when Malik blocked him for Pike Road, and he really took it to us last year, but I thought he needed another 20 or 30 pounds to be ready to play at the college level. Well, heck, Brett, he put it on in the offseason. We already see what Malik Blockton's doing. Well, let me tell you about Jordan Crawford. He doesn't need it. He already looks the part. He's built up. He's strong. He's very physical and active. And to go along with the rest of that defense, that's where their bread is buttered. They ran the football and made some plays. Naeem Alford kind of went back in the Wildcat and scored the first touchdown on a snap back to him. He is a great athlete, but they're not dynamic offensively. But when you play defense the way that Parker does and you have the Bows and Joes that they have, Brett, you don't necessarily have to play great offense. You can win football games 20-7, and that's what they did last night. So the Thundering Herd moves on. Saraland gets a rematch with Pike Road last night. Both of those teams met again in the semis last year. Pike Road gets them at their place. It didn't matter. The difference here is Saraland, yeah, they're pretty good on defense, and they've got, Antonio Coleman and others on that side of the ball. But, Brett, you've got to try to hold them to under 40. You've won on the defensive side if you can hold them under 40 with KJ Lacey at the trigger. He's as good a high school quarterback as we've had in this state over the last 20, 25 years that I've seen. Can do it all, can run, but wants to throw that football down the field, and look at his yardage. He's been a starter there at Saraland. Let me say this. He's been a starter at Saraland since the 10th grade. It's not like there's not great quarterbacks on top of great quarterbacks wanting to come through that program. It's like Trent Seaborn at Thompson, Brett. When you are the starting quarterback at Thompson High School in the 8th grade, something special about you. And KJ Lacey is special. So that'll set up a great matchup. An unbelievable offense from Saraland matched up with what looks to be as talented a defensive side of the ball as we've seen in this state in quite some time in Parker. So I'm looking forward. I'll be calling it with you next Friday night at 7 o'clock. So that'll get things kicked off with our rundown of 6A through 1A. We've got some local teams that really had good nights last night too, Brett.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. We're going to get to those here in just a little bit. Heath said, will shock me if Moody beats Catholic in 5A. War Eagle fellas, Bama's down some starters on D today. Clean game, I feel like. There's a chance. Yeah, we're going to dive into the Iron Bowl 1,000% here in just a little bit. But, yeah, we'll dive into the 5A class here in just a second as we move out of 6A. But that Saraland team will be trying to get back and get over the goal line this time as they fell short last year against a very good Clay Chaltville team. And DJ Barber makes that tackle on KJ Lacey. I'm sure he relives that play probably every single day that he wakes up. Now he's a week away from getting a chance to come back and kind of avenge that play at the end of that game. So they'll be taking on a really good Parker team, and we'll see how that one plays out. All right, into 5A, as Heath just said, Moody knocks off Leeds 42-0. I mean, again, before we talk about Catholic and Viger, Moody has quietly, I'll say quietly, but quietly sat up there in the northern side of the bracket and just taking care of business. And had a chance to talk to Coach Gaines earlier in the year, and, that was his mantra. We're going to play Gainesville, Georgia. We're going to play Oxford. We're going to play tough teams. That way, when we get to the playoffs, we're not surprised by anybody. Nobody's going to be better than who we played in the regular season. So he's got his Moody Blue Devil team prepped as they go into this state championship game.
He's got a great quarterback, for one. And he's a big, tall lumberjack of a quarterback, about 6'5", can really throw it all over the park. And Brett, when you go out there and you add 4 or 5 other D1 prospects that they've added to this Moody roster over the last couple of years, you can put together a pretty good football team in Class 5A. So it will be a little bit of the same dynamic as we're seeing in this other classification. You got an offensive-minded team, which it's funny I say that an offensive-minded team that held the opposition to 0 points in the semis, but I'll say that about Moody. I think Moody can score with the best of them. And then on the opposite side, when you're looking in Class 5A, Montgomery Catholic, the last couple of weeks I've watched, teams have just struggled getting anything going offensively. Viger did, Central Clay did. They have a few opportunities, but you cannot miss opportunities against Montgomery Catholic. If you do, you're not going to get many more. Very, very talented on the defensive side of the ball. So another great matchup, Brett. I don't go into that one going Montgomery Catholic's going to run away with this thing. I don't think that at all. I think both of those matchups at least present potential for any of those 4 teams to win the state championship. And we'll be calling that one also on Thursday night. And the only thing you can ask for as a broadcaster is a good football game. And I think we'll get good ones in both of those two.
No doubt about it. All right, we're going to take our first break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown for TV and radio. Again, want to remind everybody we'll be here for a couple hours this morning getting your Iron Bowl Saturday started. So get your comments in. We'll go ahead and step aside, take our first break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We're your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Located in the heart of Alabama, Lake Martin is a destination of tasty delights.
Lots of butter.
There's no shortage of culinary genius.
Don't tell my secret.
From mom and pops
Everyone feels like family.
to lakeside dining.
We serve food, but we try to do it with purpose.
Pour it straight in the ear.
I'm Trey Foshee.
I'm a chef now.
And I'm going to try them all.
I can do this all day.
Because there's one thing locals around here know. Lake Martin's got bite.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I want to thank both of them, longtime partners here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Couldn't do the show without them. Just great partners all the way around. So go by JR Sports Bar and Grill. They'll take care of you here on Iron Bowl Saturday. They'll make sure you got everything that you need, the food, the catering. They'll take care of you for your tailgates all throughout. So, again, heading into the holiday season, we just got finished with Thanksgiving. We'll head into Christmas here in rocket fashion like we always do. JR Sports Bar and Grill, one of your sources for catering your Christmas parties and hosting your Christmas parties and all that. So make sure you go check out JR Sports Bar and Grill here in downtown Alexander City. We're talking about the AHSA semifinals last night in football, and we'll move right on into the rest of that 5A class. As we said, Montgomery Catholic knocked off Viger 21-7. The most points that Vigers had scored on them all year. So I'm not surprised by that. Was one of those fill you out games early, but Montgomery Catholic was able to get a couple touchdowns on the board, and you kind of felt like that was going to be enough. Viger was struggling offensively last night with what Catholic was posing. It's just a good football team, man. It's a good football program. They've been solid for about 5 years now, and I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. And, Moody is a great football team. They'll be there in the state title game as their opponent, but it's going to take a good effort. Montgomery Catholic getting over the hump finally last year and winning that state championship. Then they move up a classification, and they've had no problem here in 5A this year.
Well, it's not just the sport of football, Brett. They're really good in everything right now. Have built a complete athletic program there at Montgomery Catholic, just a really, really well-coached, disciplined football team when you watch them play. I watched the majority of last week's game on Friday night with Central Clay, and it had to feel exactly like we saw last night. The score was about the same. It felt like the offensive output for their opponent was about the same. Just a real struggle to get anything going. And you try, to hit you up the middle a couple of times. In that classification, you're going to see a little different with Moody because they throw it all over the park. But they'll want to hit you over the top with some deep passes, but it's a couple of runs in the middle and then try the outside. The thing about Montgomery Catholic I'm impressed with is their defensive end play. You cannot break containment on them. They control the edges so well, make it so tough to try to hit them on the perimeter, and they've got great athletes to go along with it, Brett. So just Kirk Johnson's doing a tremendous job. Took over for Aubrey Blackwell, where he was his coordinator, and Aubrey moved on, and Kirk took the job, and I think he's lost 2 football games since he's been the head coach and won state championship. So not many programs in this state or any state can say they have the record of Kirk Johnson right now as a head coach at Montgomery Catholic.
I think his nickname's Juice, and he's got the juice going in 5A, no doubt about it, with Catholic at 13-0. Again, going to be a good 5A matchup. You and I will have that game next week in Birmingham. Moving into Class 4A, Cherokee County knocked off West Morgan. Both teams were 13-1, 35-19. Cherokee County will return to a state championship game, Randy, and it's not uncommon for that program to make it to a Super 7 state championship.
Just great athletic program again. One that I had no clue who they were 20 years ago when we started, doing these broadcasts for the HSA, but now I do. And now I know about Piedmont. Now I know about Fife. And, there's programs around the state that just embrace athletics, embrace their kids, and make sure that they put them in the best spot to be successful. And Cherokee County, I knew that right off the front. I think maybe the first or the second year that you and I called the Super 6 back then, they won a state championship, if you remember. And, they're back in it. They ran up against the buzzsaw Montgomery Catholic last year. This year, they're in a different classification. I'm sure they'd like to get over the hump and win one. Their quarterback went out last year. That made it tough. They really had to go to more of a Wildcat-esque offense in the state championship game, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
They stayed in it until late. They just couldn't overcome the great offensive play from Montgomery Catholic. So Cherokee County, no surprise at all.
They got another buzzsaw waiting on them. Not saying that they can't beat them, but not many people have this year as Jackson defeats St. Michael 49-28. That's about what you see every week when you look at their scores. Just put up gobs of points. And, teams are able to score, but they're not able to score enough. And St. Michael had a great run this year with Phillip Rivers. Falls short there in the semifinals. They'll be back. Don't worry. That team really is building. He's got a great foundation, and that's going to be a good football program for a while down there. But Jackson's been the class of 4A all year. They'll be the favorite going into that game, no doubt. But, again, when you get to the state championship game, it's a flip of the coin. You're 4 quarters away from holding a blue map. So I know Jackson wants to finish the deal. They've been the best team in 4A all year. They want to finish that with a state championship there in 4A. He said they play D as sound or more sound than teams at Clay County in the 90s. They don't get up the field. They stay home and they tackle you. He's talking about Catholic there. So
that was my takeaway too. Brett and I have been doing broadcasts together for a long time, and he knows one of my pet peeves is getting out of your lanes, especially on the perimeter with your defensive ends and your outside backers. If you do that and you give up the sideline against great athletes, they're going to make big plays, and it's coachable not to do that. Now you got to stay structured and do exactly what you're taught, but it feels like Montgomery Catholic does that as well as anybody, and I'm sure Clay County back in the day was unbelievable at it. I know it was one thing when Danny was at Benjamin Russell, he stressed, when we had Varner and some others at defensive end, Brett, we were terrifying. You couldn't get outside on us, and makes it tough trying to draw up plays if you can't hit somebody on the outside consistently and pick up big chunks of yardage. I remember calling a game with you many moons ago against Briarwood, and Andy Davis kept coming up from safety, and we'd try that outside, and buddy, he'd knock us down, and we couldn't do anything. Finally, we found a way to really power it on them, if you remember that night. But it's difficult when you've got a team that's well coached that does that, and Catholic definitely is.
No doubt about it. We're going to take another break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown for TV and radio. Everybody stay tuned. A lot more coming up right after this.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
How many of you out there comment in, do you think Brett's going to be okay with hanging in there?
All right, here we go. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad to have everybody with us this morning. You can give us your comments on YouTube and Facebook, obviously. Those have been coming in this morning. Continue to roll in. We'll get to those, and we're going to run down the rest of these scores here in the classes 6A through 1A. We all know that Thompson and Phoenix City will be your 7A game to get things started next Wednesday in Birmingham. But moving right along here, we've done 6A through 4A. We're now down into 3A. Houston Academy will make their first appearance since we've been doing this into the Super 7. They will take on Mars Hill Bible, who knocked off Piedmont. But Houston Academy knocked off a very good Southside Selma team, 48-28 last night. I don't know a ton about Houston Academy like I do a lot of these other teams, but they've navigated their way to Birmingham.
Well, I do because I get a lot of information in from Houston Academy. And by the way, let me jump in right there. Message us when you've got kids or you got programs that you don't feel like are getting enough press or publicity. We got to hear from you. Some programs do a tremendous job of getting information into the HSA and myself. Others don't. And we don't report on those that don't get the information in anywhere near as much as we do on the Houston Academies of the world. I get a lot of info every week on the Houston Academy. And so we've given, I don't know how many athletes of the week and region athletes of the week by the Alabama Community College system, Brett, based off of that information we get. Here's a couple of things you need to know, Brett, and everybody else needs to know. Houston Academy's got one of the best quarterbacks in the state. He's versatile. He can run the football, but, buddy, he has thrown the football kind of like Preston Lancaster for Tuscaloosa Academy. He's thrown for yards that not many in this state ever have. So Houston Academy will be very explosive on the offensive side of the ball. But surprisingly enough, they've had a couple of players defensively that have also, in the last couple of weeks, won some Athletes of the Week awards. So 48 points, that's about what you're going to get with Houston Academy every week. Be a great matchup with a Mars Hill Bible team that can really power it at you. Got a great running back there at Mars Hill Bible. So should be a great Class 3A game. And that game will come, midday on Thursday?
No,
it'll be the start on Thursday morning.
Be the very first game at
11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. So looking forward to that one as they go 3A, 1A, 5A that day. So that's how that'll go. So again, good football team found their way to Birmingham to play for a state title. They'll take on a really good Mars Hill Bible team, 49-20 over Piedmont. That's eye-opening. The discrepancy in the score there. That was a great Piedmont team this year. But Mars Hill Bible, I mean, we're used to seeing them too, man. Another one of those powerhouse programs that can play up and down classification from Florence. And that's going to be a tough football game. It's going to be a good football game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're starting to see more of these. You've got AISA teams becoming HSA teams. A couple of the new ones didn't quite make it through to championship games, Brett, but I bet they do in the years to come. But you look at those two communities. You got Florence, you got Dothan. Those two communities now have very big private schools that have outstanding athletic programs. And it's like I said with Montgomery Catholic, it's not just football that they've created a really good athletic program. It's pretty much all of them. The girls' athletics are through the roof. The boys too now, and they do a great job of marketing those programs, Brett. So I just keep prodding along out there that send information into us. You know, the reason that we do what we do with all of our social media outlets is to clean up some holes here in the state that local newspapers used to be able to cover, but now you don't have as many of those, and you definitely don't have as many out on the beat as you once did, even with the statewide broadcast. So what we do with our social media outlets, we try to spotlight as many of those kids as we can, but we need to hear from you. So find us out there, AHSA Radio Network, send us information in. And those two programs I know a lot about because I've been talking about them for a couple of years now.
Well, and Houston Academy gets us that part of the state. We haven't seen a team from Dothan make it to the state championship since we've done it. You know, it's kind of been the outlier. That's been the outlier section of the state. You know, there's a big population in the Wiregrass and on down into Dothan, and you know we'll see some teams like you know Charles Henderson Northview, but Charles Henderson up more closer to Troy, and those teams have made it, but really Dothan proper hasn't had that. So down in Houston Academy, they'll be representing the first time in a long time, you know, at least as long as the last 20 years since you and I have been doing this. All right, we'll go down to 2A here. Tuscaloosa Academy knocked off Sulligent 20-14. It was a close game. You know, Sulligent finishes with a 9-5 record. They had one of the worst records of teams in the semifinals left, but played a really good football game against Tuscaloosa Academy, just not enough there to knock them off.
Preston Lancaster, you know, the difference last night was Tuscaloosa Academy didn't win this football game, throwing it all over the park and scoring in the 40s. They only get to 20. So really good teams find a way to win when maybe they're not playing up to the standard that they played the majority of the year. And so Tuscaloosa Academy, first time I think they've made it through, Brett. Now playing for a state championship, another private school, and tremendous growth there with a big private school in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and getting through to championships on the HSA side really bodes well for some of those schools. And right now, when you look through the teams that have made it through, there's probably half of these teams that are in are private schools, Brett.
Yeah, we're seeing that number increase for sure as we see the years go along. And again, you're seeing a lot of firsts. You're seeing a lot of teams that have never made it find their way to the state championship game. So Tuscaloosa Academy will take on a very game Reeltown team. This is exactly how I think you and I knew this game probably would end up. After watching Highland Home all year and watching Reeltown all year, neither team has had a problem scoring, but you knew when they found each other, and it was kind of a collision course, that points would be at a premium, and they really were last night because these are two outstanding defensive teams. And once again, for Highland Home, Reeltown is a nightmare that won't go away, and they lose games like this almost every year. I mean, it's 8-7 or 13 to, you know, whatever, 10, or it's always a close game. And you look up and it's another one like that. And it was 0-0 going into the fourth quarter. And, you know, Reeltown's able to make a play and score, and then they're able to make a goal line stand basically right there at the end of the game to keep Highland Home from winning that football game. So just another great one, but Highland Home can't get over the hump against Reeltown.
Well, Reeltown just finding ways to win. They did last year, Brett. B.B. Comer found ways to win. You remember it was the kicking game last year that got them through. You know, this year, defensively, they found ways to either have a drop ball or to make a big play back in the secondary to keep Highland Home off. And Brett, it was multiple times. It just wasn't that last drive. It's multiple times that that Highland Home had opportunities to score the football and just couldn't get it in. Reeltown, you know, I watched a good bit of that ball game last night, which, by the way, NFHS, it's so nice to be in one outlet on one app and just roll from one game to the next. You know, you go down to a commercial break, I go over to the other. So I have a real take on what's going on with some of these teams with the opportunity to watch the ball games on NFHS. It's worth the money. If you haven't subscribed to your local high school, I highly recommend that you do. Those Pixel-Lot cameras, Brett, give you a lot of broadcasts, not only for football where you've got a call, but they just turn those things on and you've got basketball going on and may not have a call in the background, but you're able to watch your kids, your grandkids or whatever. And that has been nice. But yeah, really good win for Reeltown. They struggled mightily moving the football on Highland home. And Jacaleb Falk, he was very gimpy last night. One of his legs, I don't know what the issue was, but really, really gimpy and never really got into the flow of the game to make any big-time plays for Highland home. They had some other guys that you can tell were just about – they may not have been the first one off the bus, but they had 4 or 5 other guys that everybody else in the state up and down classification would have liked. But it tells you what type of program Reeltown has. And it's year in and year out. They're right here beside us, Brett, and they do it as good, if not better, than everybody in our region when it comes to high school football.
No doubt about it. All right, we got to get to another break here for TV and radio. Everybody stay tuned. A lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone, 256-750-0381, or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Has Auburn and Alabama ever been in the top 5 together in basketball?
I doubt it. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Going to finish up AHSA talk here. We're going to have Luke join us at 8. We're going to have Wade, Uncle T-Bone, join us as well for a little while before he has to dart out to get on another program. But we'll have them together with us, Randy, for a little bit. But let's finish this up in 1A football. Maplesville knocks off Elba. It's a crazy game there. Maplesville wins that game 28-21. Again, you and I don't have a dog in the fight, but again, the all-time leading rusher in state history and Alvin Henderson not going to be able to finish off an unbelievable season as they fall short by a touchdown.
Well, again, watching that one last night, 21-all. Elba's on a drive, have taken it from inside the 5-yard line out to the 40 for Maplesville. Maplesville just hits a perfect tackle right on the football, knocks it out of Alvin Henderson's hand. He fumbles. Maplesville gets it back about 3 or 4 plays later there into the end zone to go up 28-21. And, Brett, I haven't watched a lot of Elba, but Elba does not throw the football at all. I think they had 4 or 5 attempts all night last night. And they're in the old school Notre Dame box almost. I mean, it's not really, but Alvin Henderson, I guess he's the quarterback because they pretty much snap it to him. And he goes left, right, maybe up the middle. They do a little wing T, so they'll run what looks like a speed sweep now, but it's an old school T formation. Counter back to the right. They run maybe 4 or 5 plays. It was something to watch, and I understand why Alvin Henderson has the yards that he has, Brett, because he's going to touch the football every play, and they're going to lean on him. And if you can't stop him, then you don't. But Maplesville's got great athletes, and so it should be a really, really good matchup in state championship game against a very athletic and really good football community in Wadley.
Yeah, and talking about Wadley, Mark comes in and said Wadley's first 2 offensive possessions were a pair of 79-yard runs. So nobody's shocked by that. They jumped out to a pretty big lead. I tipped my hat to Hackleburg. I looked up and they were down, I think, 26 to 8 or 30-something to 8. And all of a sudden you look up and they've got 24 points on the board. And I thought, man, okay, Hackleburg, after getting pounced on to start this game, they're fighting back. And then I flipped back over there and it was another 30-point discrepancy. I'm like, well, that was short-lived. They had enough energy to try to fight back one time, but they weren't able to fight back the second time. Wadley put 69 on them. They beat them 69-31. That's the norm for Wadley this year. They destroyed teams, and again, last night was no exception.
Well, I complimented their play last year. I wanted to turn over and watch Jarquez Wilkes play and just see him out on the field. But I left calling Brett probably right after I got off of watching one of their ball games. I said, Brett, it's not just him. Now, he's beautiful, and I see why he's a top 5 prospect in the state. And, my gosh, I'd love to see him in orange and blue. But the rest of their team and the way that they play and how physical they play and how their lines of scrimmage get after you, they may not be 280, but they got 220, 230, and they got some bigger guys too. But I'm saying they've got some guys that just play football the right way in Wadley, Alabama. So tip your hat to them. Should be a great matchup against 2 really, really good high school football communities that love their programs. They really support those programs really well in both of those communities, Brett. And Class 1A is going to be one of the better football games, I suspect, that we'll see next week with those 2 teams matched up with each other.
Yeah, I think Maplesville's obviously a historic program, and they're getting back. And then, of course, Wadley, they're trying to get over that hump again to win that state title. And, again, they're just a dominant team. They've been the Class of 1A all year, and they got to get through another tough team this coming up week to win a 1A championship. All right, obviously 7A was set last week, but going to pit Central Phoenix City and Thompson together again. Like we said, all this drama in the LBC, right, all year with the with 7A, and then it comes down to the same two teams, and they find their way to a state title game. There's some teams that have closed the gap for sure, but when the dust settled, it was the two teams that everybody would have probably put their money on to start the season in Phoenix City and Thompson.
Well, none of our college coaches are any better than the two high school head coaches they have at Phoenix City and Thompson. I mean, Pat Nix could be a college guy, there's no doubt, and Mark Freeman's always been one of our favorites, Brett. Can coach them up as well as anybody, and, you know, it's not surprising to see them get better as the season goes on, which both of those teams did, and both had to. You know, they lost a few games early and in the middle part of the season, and then you take their two quarterbacks, Alford over at Phoenix City and Seaborn there at Thompson. They had some moments this year where it looked like they weren't quite up to the standard that they had last year, and then by the end of the year, both of them are playing as well as any two quarterbacks in the state of Alabama, and I think you'll see that in the championship game. But it goes back to leadership, and those two programs are led, again, I'm going to say it, Hugh Freeze, DeBoer, all of the above. None of them are any better coaches than these two head coaches we've got in the 7A classification here in the state of Alabama. I mean, those two guys can coach them up as well as anybody.
Yeah, no doubt. They've proven that for sure. You know, Pat Nix's been a college guy. He's coached at Georgia Tech and Miami and those places. And then, you know, he's been able to come back into the high school ranks and has done a really good job there at Pinson Valley and now at Phoenix City. Real quick comment before we go to our next break, going back to our talk about Auburn and Alabama basketball. Michael said, I think Bama and Auburn were in the top 5 together this year for 1 week until they lost to Purdue. Pretty sure they were 2 and we were 5. So there's a quick answer to that trivia question. Bubba said, told you you were sleeping on Moody. I don't know that we were sleeping on Moody. We pretty much said everybody kind of had ignored Moody for the most part in the northern side because all the talk had been around Catholic and Viger and Central Clay County. And, you know, look, I went and covered Moody earlier in the year, and I knew they had a good football team. And, you know, kind of wish they would have been able to play that Auburn game just to see that matchup that was on the schedule, but that hurricane canceled that game. But they've accomplished their goal. They've made it to a state championship game, and they'll get Montgomery Catholic, which is going to be a heck of a game. So we're looking forward to it. All right, so we got to get to our next break on TV and radio. When we come back, we'll dive straight into the college side. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hello, this is Little Mo right here with you from DLR Us Auto Sales. At DLR Us, we have multiple sedans and SUVs. Come see us at 33445 U.S. Highway 280, Childersburg, Alabama 35044. Call us at 256-267-3257. Let's make a deal, people. Our down payment is based on $500 down. With the approval of credit, we make it happen. We work with you. We got the choice for you, and we make the right deal.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Illinois Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillby Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillby Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rates. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Not as bad as you in technology. He's texting me, "You gonna send the link?" I said, "I sent it an hour ago." All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I'm going to try to talk Luke through this thing here in just a second as we move forward and close out hour number one. We'll get Luke in. I'll connect the phone and, solder some wires together so we can bring him in here in just a second, Randy. But I'll turn it over to you. We're going to dive into the Iron Bowl, but last night, Georgia and Georgia Tech, good Lord. What a football game. And, Georgia just kind of looked despondent there in the first half. And were able to do what they've done all year and find a way to fight back in the end.
Yeah, it's quarterback play. You watch them and you go, why are they back to the fold? Well, it's definitely a deficiency on the offensive side of the ball, Brett. I mean, they really struggle, and they don't run the football. It's kind of back to Alabama, and I'm hopeful that Alabama stays the course and don't try to run the football with those two great running backs that they've got right now. But do you feel the same when you watch Georgia? Where did the physical play go? Where did the necessity to depend on your quarterback to make all of your plays offensively did we get to? And
right.
do you think that's where the game is? Because I don't. I still think you can line up and play physical and run the football and be multidimensional and throw the football down the field when you need to. I don't understand why these offensive teams feel like they've got to put all their bread in one basket, and if their quarterback's not playing well, then they lose. Instead of lining up and playing physical. I bet I sound like a broken record with a lot of Alabama fans out there.
Yeah, I think it's fads, man, is the word I come up with in football. Things come full circle like we're seeing in basketball with big interior play. I think the NBA kind of went away from that for a while because of the way things have changed and the way fouls are called now. So things kind of come full circle. I'll bring Luke in now. We got Luke. I got the solder and wire connected and the satellite, and we got Luke in here now. Luke, good morning, man. Good to see you, buddy.
Good morning. How's it going, everybody?
It's good. We're talking about kind of the evolving of football and kind of how teams have gotten away from running the football and the physical play, and they just feel like I don't know if it's pressure from recruiting and styles of play and the way the NFL is, but even though you probably should be running the football, sometimes coaches have a hard time pulling away from that, and they just keep throwing the football. And Georgia's the game we're talking about. We're talking about Georgia Tech, and then just kind of your thoughts on that, Luke.
First of all, I think that running the football seems to be coming back in very slowly. I think they have gotten away from it for sure. But one thing I noticed last night, I kept saying this during the overtime, if I'm Georgia Tech, I'll run it for every 2-point conversion. I mean, why pass it? Yes, you've had some nice pass plays, but running the ball is where you've killed them. And that's what I would have done. And I probably would have done it a little less with Haynes King towards the end because he was gassed and he had been beaten up. I probably would have handed it to a running back, but their running backs are beat up too. So I understand it, and you got to give Georgia Tech a lot of credit for getting it that far. But I think that running the ball needs to come back in. I think in the end, that's the rules of football about playing defense and playing and running the ball are still going to be the rules that you need to follow long term. It's sort of like playing the stock market. I mean, you can play some of these risky stocks and you might hit a home run and you might make a bunch of money, but you got to know when to cash out. But in the end, if you just invest in things that are strong, in things that pay a little dividend, and they always stay steady Eddie, and they're good companies, then I think in the end you will be happier for it long term rather than be on this roller coaster. But in the short term, passing the ball is fine and it can be a lot of fun. But I go back to just taking it on a Alabama situation. You look at the Tennessee game. I mean, I sure wish Alabama had run it a little bit more there. They decided they were going to pass it as much as they could, and they ended up losing the game. And I think if the team that runs the ball the best, and again, when you say that term, when you say it that way, people think, oh, you mean the team that runs for 300? I mean, just the team that outgains the other one in the game. Well, one team may only gain 100, and other team may only gain 50. But I'm saying if you run the ball well and get 250, 300 yards rushing, which is a pretty good many, you're going to probably win the game. I don't care what the other team has passing.
Randy.
Well, it just feels, and Luke, we'll go ahead and go into a little Iron Bowl talk. Glad to have you on, by the way. And Brett, glad that we have this new setup so we can bring so many people in and we can see Luke Robinson's beautiful face.
We're just glad to get Luke back to working again on Saturday.
That's right. We're glad to have him in here. But, Alabama, I look at the stats for the running backs for Alabama, Brett. I mean, Luke, and it's head scratching. I mean, first off, Luke, where were the rankings? You're the recruitnik of the bunch. The two running backs for Alabama, how highly were they ranked coming out of high school?
Jam Miller was a 4, Justice was a 4/5, and Richard Young was a 4/5. Now, Richard Young isn't playing as much. I think one of the problems Alabama has is that, and I like Jalen Milroe, but I think he is not very proficient at the read option. I mean, I think that he keeps it a little bit too often. And also Alabama just doesn't run a bunch of, hey, we're going to run the running back this play. That's just what we're going to do. And it's one of the things that worries me about today.
Yeah, I hope y'all stay the course with that, by the way. If we can leave this ball game with your two running backs getting somewhere between 15 and 20 carries, I'll call that a win. And that's been the consistent. I mean, you'll see Miller getting 8-10 carries. You'll see Justice Haynes getting 6 or 8 carries, and it's somewhere between 15 and 20 and only 70 to 80 yards rushing between the two of them. And, my point I'm making is I'm betting every one of us wanted your two backs. It's not like you're throwing a couple of guys out there that the rest of the country didn't want. And so, but it goes to a question mark, are Alabama fans happy with the identity that they have on the offensive side of the ball right now? Because I don't sense that it's a physical brand of football anymore. And
no, we're not happy. I mean, this one's not happy.
Well,
I bet you're the norm, though, Luke.
Let me stop y'all. We got to get to break here for TV and radio. When we come back, it'll be the top of the hour, and we'll dive more into that. So hold that thought right there, guys. Stay tuned. Hour number 2 of the Saturday Sports Countdown coming your way right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Located in the heart of Alabama, Lake Martin is a destination of tasty delights.
Lots of butter.
There's no shortage of culinary genius.
Don't tell my secrets.
From mom and pops
Everyone feels like family.
to lakeside dining.
We serve food, but we try to do it with purpose.
Pour it straight into here. I'm Trey Foshi.
I'm a chef now.
And I'm going to try them all.
I can do this all day.
Because there's one thing locals around here know. Lake Martin's got bite.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
We're hammering down high prices at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. New full-size GMC Sierras discounted up to $12,500 off. GMC Terrains with a roomy cabin and pro safety discounted $6,500 off. Enjoy your holidays with no payments until February. Choose from over 500 new and used on the lot or on the way. GlennSmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Can't say we can't come through for you here, buddy. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. We do kind of like the Brady Bunch a little bit. I have to laugh. Luke said maybe we can call a few more people and get on here with us. But hey, we're gonna welcome in Uncle T-Bone here this morning with us. I've got Luke Robinson, got Randy, and myself. We went through high school in the first hour. We're gonna dive into this Iron Bowl coming up here in a few hours. Glad that you have joined us out there, wherever it is that you're tuning us in. If you're looking for a missing person, we can find them. All we need is a number and half a name, and we'll figure out who it is. But anyway, appreciate all your comments. Guys, let's just start with this game, I think, and I'll go around the room and try to keep it in order. Randy, I'll start with you first. I think this game 5 weeks ago, I would have said, unequivocally, Alabama's got this thing locked up, but some things have kind of shifted and kind of given Auburn some hope the way they're playing football. And so, I'm expecting a little bit closer game than I would have 5 weeks ago.
Well, of course. I mean, Alabama scores 3 points last Saturday. I mean, how much hope do you need? They've got question marks on the offensive side of the ball, and they've got to cure those L's. And I told Luke Wade, and I'll kind of kick it down to you, that's my X factor. Does Alabama have a willingness to run the football? And if they don't, I'm hoping Auburn can check out the blueprint that others have drawn up on how to slow Jalen Milroe down. And if that's the case, Alabama hasn't really shown so far this year that they're willing to lean on those two great running backs that they've got. And so that's the biggest part of this ball game. Auburn's got a top 20 defense. DJ Durkin's doing a great job there. And Auburn needs it to be a low-scoring game. I'll say that. There's no part of me that thinks Auburn's going to go over there and score 24-plus points. I think Auburn needs to win this game 21-17, something like that would be a really good one. There's a good 86 score for you. But Wade, that's the X factor for me. I'll kick down to you, and then we'll let Luke go on a rant because he's got to take on 3 Auburn fans this morning.
I mean, y'all gonna make the Alabama guy go last?
I was gonna let him go next, but Randy took control, so I'll let you go first.
Go with Luke. Finally, I love listening to Luke on the Max Roundtable with Doug Amos every Wednesday. Get some fantastic information from the other side of the state. So thank you, Luke, with your Locked On Bama broadcast. And I'm with you. I think it's a race to 24. Auburn can't win a game upwards, I don't think, unless it gets into some kind of crazy overtime game, which I don't think they'd win on the road anyway, like they did against Texas A&M last week. The running attack, I would be very shocked if Alabama rolls out the same game plan that it did for LSU, for Oklahoma, and then for Auburn with a heavy dose of set runs for Jalen Milroe as your running attack. I think they got to go to the tailbacks more and pound on Auburn, which Auburn has to do to Alabama, and then open up the big shots down the field with Jalen Milroe, who I still say throws the prettiest deep ball in college football. So if they roll out with the same stuff that they have the last couple of weeks, there is a recipe now that Brent Venables showed. Can Auburn execute it? I think Oklahoma's defensive line is stronger than Auburn's, but Auburn's been playing over its skis a little bit at linebacker, and that's going to be an interesting matchup to me. It's not just the freshman who popped off this week, but the other guys as well have played very solid, including the transfer, the Mousy kid. He's been very underrated this season for Auburn, so watch him today. He's a solid football player.
Go, Luke.
First of all, John Dent faxed me a picture of who we're missing. If y'all could find this guy for me.
That guy plays at Demopolis High.
He's number 10 now, if that helps.
That's him. That's the quarterback, I think. Maybe Marbury.
That's a good look at him.
Oh, my gosh.
You can't miss that face.
That's who you were looking for the whole time. You knew it.
I found him on South Park, I think. Anyway, look, I don't know what kind of game plan Alabama's going to have today. I don't think it's going to be, everybody's talking about what kind of tone needs to be set. I don't even know what to expect for this game anymore. That should be the norm. We don't know what to expect in this game anytime ever. You never know what you're going to get with the Iron Bowl, and you don't know what kind of team is going to show up. I don't know what kind of mental state either one of these squads is in. I mean, obviously I can speak to Alabama and say I feel like I'm worried about the last game. I mean, obviously that has me very concerned the way that they hadn't played like that in 17 years, and that poorly. The identity, I don't really even know what to say Alabama's identity is anymore. But on the other side, Auburn's coming off the biggest win they've had in 4 or 5 years. And so how do they handle that with a bunch of youngsters? And then, there's part of me that says, boy, I know it used to be in the Iron Bowl when you'd say some things like DeMarcus Riddick or Cam Coleman or Eugene Asante or any of those guys have said, that's a death nail. But now I don't know. I did a crossover Locked On special with Zach Blackerby at Locked On Auburn, and I said, maybe it's a generational thing because I think that's just the way kids talk now. Zach is much younger than I am. He's, roughly 30. And I said, nobody talked like that. We might amongst our own fans, but, and the fans may have done it, but the players didn't do that. And there's part of me that understands it and sort of goes, hey, what's the harm? Because honestly, if Auburn wins the game, if Alabama wins the game, I think that eventually Alabama fans will be like, sort of forget what DeMarcus Riddick said because they'll be worried about the playoffs and trying to worry about what the future and everything else. But if Auburn wins, DeMarcus Riddick's a prophet forever. So, I guess there's no harm, no foul. But and at the same time, there's the old side of me is like, I don't like that. For me, I would say the same thing if an Alabama guy said it. I'd say, I just don't like that. Just don't do that. Just go out there and do it. You don't need to say things like that. And part of me is also like, if both of these teams have underachieved this year, so if you're smack talking, I think it's a little late. You should have smacked instead of doing the talking earlier, because both of these teams have underachieved from what they were expected to do earlier this season. So I'm sort of like, hey, don't come at the last game of the season and say, I'm the best player on the field when where were you 4 games ago?
Well, DeMarcus Riddick wasn't playing much in the early part of the year, and his play time's increased. But, Luke, I don't know if you heard me on Gary Harris's show yesterday, but he asked me the same exact question, and I gave almost the identical answer. I said, I think it's just the generation. I don't think anybody pays attention. I think both, kids talk that kind of talk now. And it's not the way we grew up. And when you said something, everybody just went into a shell and went, oh, I can't believe he said that. You know, now they're going to kill us and stuff. I think that's just the banter back and forth with social media, and the you know, they know each other. They grew up with each other. They were recruited with each other. So I think that's just friendly fire. I really do. I just think that's the way it is. But I'm kind of with you. I'd just rather not talk. I'd rather just do. But that's our generation here on the Brady Bunch podcast we got going on. That's our mentality.
I do really believe, you know, I think Auburn's over-under was like 7-7, maybe 6.5 or something. Alabama's was, I know what Alabama's was, it was 9.5. So neither one of them can get to what both of them are going to be under. I mean, I just look at it like, and I didn't like what Jalen Milroe had to retort either. Like, I don't know him. Well, you should know. If you don't know him, that's a problem. You're going to be playing against him. You don't have to know him personally, but you can at least say, hey, I saw him on film. He's a pretty good player. He's pretty fast. He's a youngster, but he's good. I would have understood that. Why come back at some kind of talk with more talk? You're the senior. You should know better. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Again, Zach is sort of like, hey, all my people love it. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I guess as an older guy, I'm sort of out of
I don't love it.
I'm not a fan.
I mean, I never in my life when I bump my gums, has it ever come back to haunt me. I mean, we're all the same age. When we were playing ball, going to games on the bus, we weren't even allowed to talk.
Yeah.
You had to win the game to be able to talk on the ride home. I mean, but you know what? You're right. Like these kids, you put 2 or 3 of them combined age now, and I'm older than them. Do you think they care what I have to say? We're the old.
It's also why I was. It's also why I was cheering for Mike Tyson so hard. Shut one of these youngsters up, and you know. But you know,
I looked on the message boards yesterday on the on-3 ones, both Auburn and Alabama, and some of the other ones, and there wasn't one person talking about this or this morning.
Yeah.
You know, back 20 years ago, people'd still just be foaming at the mouth about it. So I'm with you guys. I mean, all these guys know each other. They don't care what anybody from the old school has to say.
No.
And that's just how it is. I think the story of it, though, Luke, I said this yesterday, is both of these coaches, and you just touched on it, are probably relieved that the media picked this up early in the week, because the story of this game are the 2 coaches and them underachieving this year.
And hey,
whoever loses this game is going into next season in boiling hot water, I think.
Hey, Wade, let's y'all hold your thoughts. We got to get to break. We come back, we'll keep this rolling. Stay tuned, everybody. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Get your comments rolling in. John's entertained us here for a while. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts of it. Randy, I'll start with you. What does Auburn have to do to win this football game here today? And then we'll get down to Luke eventually on the Alabama side. But what's Auburn got to do to win the game today?
Run first, pass second. For whatever reason, first part of the season, we wanted to pass first to set up the run. This second half of the season, outside of that Vandy game, we went more Jarquez and then tried to hit the big ball down the field. And Cam Coleman's been in the mix the last couple of games because of it. It may take a game like Peyton Thorne had last year against Alabama where he runs the football 12 to 14 times. I think that would be a good game plan. So, yeah, that's where I'll start with it. Does Auburn lean more on the run than they do the pass? And can we be physical enough on the lines of scrimmage to be able to do that? We did it last year at home. Can we do it in Tuscaloosa? Heck if I know. We haven't been over there and won in 14 years. So got to get off the snide at some point in time. And I'm hopeful that today, with Alabama's woes offensively, we can find a way to put enough points up on the board to win a close one there. So that's where I'll start, kicking it down to Wade. Running the football is key to me.
Special teams, anytime Auburn has an opportunity to kick a field goal, they got to knock it back and take the 3 points to maintain momentum. Those type of situations in Iron Bowls, missed field goals or muff snaps on field goals can be super detrimental to your chances of winning. And for crying out loud, field your punts. Muff punts have killed Auburn in this game over the last few years, basically eliminating victory when it was right there for the taking. And you cannot give Alabama any kind of short fields in those situations. It's hard to say don't turn the ball over. I mean, I think Auburn can get away with a turnover, maybe even 2. But if they're on special teams, they're not going to get away with it. If you give Alabama a short field immediately, especially if it's near midfield, Milrose going deep to the end zone, to the middle of the end zone, and normally is going to connect there. So I think that's the key for Auburn, is handling its business. I think it's going to be a war and a slugfest either way offensively. Just limit turnovers, convert in special teams, and field all your punts cleanly, and you'll have a shot at winning this football game.
Yeah, I think that in the end, if you're Alabama, I know he's played a lot better, but I think you got to make Peyton Thorne beat you. First of all, I guess I would say before that is go out there and assert physical dominance if possible. I'm not even sure it's possible, frankly, but that's what you have to try and do. And secondly, make Peyton Thorne beat you. If he beats you deep, then he beats you, but don't let him beat you with his feet. And trying to contain Jarquez Hunter as best you can, keep him under, say, 80 yards if possible. that's what you want to do. And again, always turnovers are a big issue. Special teams will be interesting because both, Alabama's kicker, I think, is good. Graham Nicholson's a good kicker. He won the Lou Groza last year. I didn't think he should have. I thought Will Reichert clearly should have. He's the all-time leading. This was weird with the NCAA and, I think getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm not 100% if Will Reichert was first-team All-American on any service. So if he wasn't and he didn't win the Lou Groza, I'm not sure he's eligible for the NCAA Hall of Fame, and he's the leading scorer in NCAA history, which is just a weird, stupid rule they have. You have to be a first team anyway. But Graham Nicholson won it last year, and he's been okay this year, but not great. And obviously, Auburn's got a dude that's nobody heard of about 3 weeks ago, and now he's out there being the man. So that could be interesting. But I think Wade brought up an interesting point I hadn't even considered. Muffed punts are Auburn's field goals for Alabama lately. Where field goals were our bugaboo forever, and now muffed punts is what it is for Auburn in this Iron Bowl.
Special teams should scare both sides to an extent, but you're right. I mean, forever it was if you ever had Alabama in a key situation to kick a field goal, you really felt good about yourself. Well, right now, just fielding a punt, Randy, we've seen Malcolm Simmons take over punt return duties here in the last few weeks, and he's done a pretty good job.
He has, and you and I have had the good fortune of watching him do that for 3 or 4 years, and it's a lot of pressure back there, and I'm hopeful that he comes through with it, and I think he'll have a lot of opportunities, but I don't think it's necessarily those that we're talking about. Auburn's punting game was abysmal last Saturday. I can't remember the last time as an Auburn fan that I watched us punt the football the way that we did last Saturday. I don't know what's going on with Oscar Chapman. It's mental. I mean, he had a drop where the ball hit the ground. I mean, he kicked a drop kick for a punt last week, and luckily he hit it and got it out to midfield. But I can't remember the last time that he turned one over and actually had a good kick. And if that's the case today, and we don't win the field position battle, because look, I'm going to be wrong. It'll end up being 41-38 the moment I say this. But, I really think that it's the first 1 to 20 points may win this game. And Auburn at least hopes that that's the case. But we got to win this field position battle, and a lot of that leans on how good your punting game is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that's huge. Guys, we're going to go ahead and get to our next break. We come back, we'll have about a half an hour left here on Iron Bowl Saturday to get everybody's comments. John wants you to hold your selfie up, Luke. He's calling that a selfie. So
it ain't a selfie. It's an artist. What do you call it? Police artist sketch.
It's a rendering. Yeah,
it's a police artist sketch of what the guy that's missing, and hopefully y'all can find him. Got any chance?
He's not missing anymore, and
That's Charlie Brown, man.
It is Charlie Brown. It's very close.
Found him.
You found him. All right, we're gonna go find a commercial break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at dunningroofingal.com for more information.
That was
2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, maybe. Yeah, that was the LSU game.
We got 20 seconds, guys.
Tee them up, Brett. You can stay away from me here.
We're gonna do this one time. Randy's gonna be in the back mowing.
Yeah.
You're gonna go through him, and he's gonna have to hurry back in.
Happily.
All right, here we go. 5 seconds. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We got a missing person alert. We figured that out this morning with John. And John said that was your AI, Luke, by the way, on here. So that's AI Luke, that picture. But
that'd be about as much as my AI could kick out. I can tell you that right now.
Hey, some guys.
Artist idiot is what
we're going to go down to you, Luke, first, and then you, Wade, some things that concern you on both sides. Here, Luke, I'll start with you.
Things that concern me?
Yeah.
The game. I am not feeling good. I hadn't felt good about this. I mean, like, this is, you know, there have been times I remember, I think I was going to the 2013 game. I think I just went down and tailgated and came back. And I mean, I remember calling into Saturday Sports Countdown then. That's how long we've been on air. And I said, boy, it's just something that doesn't feel right. And obviously that was sort of historic. And this week, though, but the week leading up to that, I felt okay. This week, I just don't even know what to feel anymore because it's been so long since Alabama's had something like what happened last Saturday happen. You know, and I know that now that's okay. That just may be where we are, that more games are going to be dogfights than ever before. And I need to get used to it. But, you know, it's been 15 good years of not having to worry about it at all. Like, we just go in there and just wax Oklahoma and come on to the house. And we didn't. We just looked like we were disheveled. We were out of sorts. We had a very lackadaisical attitude, it seemed like. And so I don't know what in the world to think about today. There are a lot of things that concern me. I mean, you know, Auburn's got some good players. I mean, Jarquez Hunter's a really good player. Cam Coleman's a very good player. So I feel like Auburn's got enough to beat us because I've seen lesser teams beat us. I know Oklahoma beat Auburn too, but I would still argue that Auburn's probably better than Oklahoma. I mean, regardless of what the score said. So, yeah, I think this game is going to be an absolute dogfight. I just don't know what the mental state of this team is. Are they understanding that, hey, look, it is a long shot. It is certainly not set in stone that if you win this game, you go to the playoffs. But there is an opportunity. And if it doesn't mean something to you, look, in the end, it should mean something to them. But I saw a Georgia team last night go out there and, fiddle around for a while, and against a Georgia Tech team that is far inferior to me. But Georgia Tech is playing to reestablish themselves, and Georgia's just so out there like, y'all are Georgia Tech, we don't even worry about y'all. And I think part of that is a result of some NIL stuff. I think what you're going to see is some teams be a little hungrier, and then it's going to be, how do you deal with once the players make all this and they don't feel like they have to listen to you anymore? How do you motivate them anymore? That's what I feel like the biggest problem is going to be for some programs that get good. I mean, Auburn may have to deal with that in 2 years versus right now, because right now they're hungry. But in a year and a half, or maybe even next year, when some of their players are making a lot more money, have a lot more opportunities, are they going to be the ones in this boat where you're struggling to motivate them because they got plenty of money, they got plenty of status, they got all the popularity? What do they need you for? Do you understand where I'm going here?
Yeah. No doubt.
I think Auburn fans are hoping that the scenario that you saw last night over in Athens is one that can play out to an extent today in Tuscaloosa, where one team is the better football program and has been for quite some time, and the other team is the hungry upstart trying to reestablish itself as a player, not just in the conference, but on a national level. It's been so long since Auburn's been relevant, and they've been in the doldrums of college football. I mean, that's just a fact. It's painful to say, and Alabama's been tremendously dominant. And then all of a sudden, there's an opportunity where the program that's had the better run might be slipping for just whatever reason, or may not be motivated to really go out there and handle its business. And you've got some momentum, and you've got to seize it, and you've got to make a statement. Georgia Tech, I love their head coach. Brent Key can coach, and he's relentless. And they're going to, Georgia's a better program, but that's an underrated squad that's been pretty salty all season. And I think that Auburn's on that same level with them right now. The Tigers should be a 7-win team, but Alabama's on the same level of Georgia. They should be about a 10-win team going into this game. And for whatever reason, both of those things have not played out. I look for motivation and who is more motivated going into the Iron Bowl, who's got the most pressure on them, who's prepared best, but who's going to come in and play loose and hot. I don't think that Auburn has done a whole lot of grinding over this game this week from everything I've gathered and listening to Hugh Freeze's comments in his press conference and at Tiger Talk. It just seems like to me that they're going to do their Thanksgiving bit. They're going to get up to Tuscaloosa, and they're just going to try and ball and see what happens. What's it like? What's it been like this week over in Tuscaloosa, Luke? Because quite frankly, I haven't really been able to keep up or read a lot of what's going on over there post Oklahoma. And is this a situation where Kalen DeBoer may overgrind going into this game because he knows he needs it so bad?
I haven't gotten that sense at all. I think the more sense I've gotten is still the only moderate practice report I've got from anybody that's not like a message board person was practice wasn't great. Now, is that getting second-handed to me? I don't know. And that was a few days ago, so maybe some things have changed. But I would suspect that after losing 24-3 to a not-so-good Oklahoma team, practice shouldn't be great. And he didn't really elaborate. But, I just feel like I'm very concerned about this. Again, my other friends say usually in this game, the better team finds a way to win. And I think that is true. While we always talk about the weird endings, in the end, the better team does seem to find a way to win for the most part. 84 probably being one of the big ones that stands out to me. I mean, that Alabama team had no business being on the same field as Auburn that year. But otherwise, I think even like 13, Alabama's team was really good, but you could certainly make a case Auburn's team was better. You could certainly make that case. But what I'm worried about here is I just don't know I don't know enough to know to even what to be worried about. I think we'll know a lot after the first drive or two, like what kind of Jalen Milroe are we going to get? I think John Dent brought up a great point. We've talked about it all week. Some other Alabama fans, and I think that first hit where Milroe made the wrong cut and went in the wrong hole and got laid out by the Oklahoma linebacker. If he had cut to the right, I think there's a lot of green grass. But he got hit, and I think those kind of things can be big momentum builders and confidence builders for a team that's not as good as the other team. And conversely, I think if you're the team that's favored, when you see a hit like that, you're like, oh, these guys are better than we thought. And all of a sudden, it's not necessarily David beating Goliath, but something closer to that. And I feel like if Auburn comes out and sets a tone early, I don't know that Alabama's going to be able to come back.
Luke, is quick follow-up question on that.
Hey, real quick, Wade. Let's get the break.
Milroe 100%.
Hey, Wade, we got to get the break. I was going to stop you there. I was going to stop after Luke. Come back. We'll pick up with that comment and a couple more key things that we want to talk about here to close out the show. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. Up to 56% off new 2024 RVs during Camping World's Model Year-End Clearance. Shop clearance pricing on over 24,000 2024 RVs that must go. Take advantage of these Model Year-End prices before they're gone.
All All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Got a couple segments left on the show this morning. Been great so far. Let's dive right back in. I think one of the storylines in this game is the two coaches. And Wade said this, Randy, all week, that they better be glad that that some other distractions like smack talk and some of those things have taken the spotlight off of them, but it really is about these two guys. I mean, Hugh Freeze lost that game last year in ridiculous fashion. So he's got to come back from that, and he struggled this year. This team hadn't been very good, so a lot of eyes on him in this second Iron Bowl. And Kalen DeBoer is about to get an initiation, just like anybody that's never coached in this game. You can hear about it, you can read about it, but until you are on the sideline coaching in it, you don't know. And so there's a little angst amongst Alabama fans right now with him. So this one's going to be interesting to watch these two perspectives today.
Well, he's very lucky he's at home. So he's got the fan support behind him here in this ball game, and I think that will help, of course. But back to those two coaches, I think the identity issues for both programs are where I keep coming back to. I don't know who Alabama is on the offensive side of the ball outside of Jalen Milroe go out there and make us a play. And I haven't known what the identity for Auburn football on the offensive side's been for 12 to 14 years. Really, the last time I felt like we went into a season where I knew what we wanted to do and how we were set up 2014. After that 13 season with Nick Marshall coming back, I knew what we were doing. But since then, it's been all over the map. And unfortunately, if you're an Alabama fan, that's what I feel about you right now. And here's a key to the ball game today, as we talked about Alabama high school football in the first hour of the program, Brett. Think about how many high school guys that we all covered last year, Luke and Brett, that are going to play key roles in the game in their first year this year. Ryan Williams and Cam Coleman, both the receivers. Easily whoever wins this football game could be which one of those two guys make the most big plays. Ryan Williams has done it all year, and Cam Coleman's really stepped up the last couple of weeks. And then the other ones that we're talking about is DeMarcus Riddick and his comments and how big of a key he's going to be defensively, spying Jalen Milroe and not allowing him to get off running the football today. And, it's kind of funny to think that not very long ago we were broadcasting games for them, and now the biggest game on this Saturday at 2:30 is going to have some young guys that a lot are expected out of them. And that's something I'm going in today watching. I'm not surprised at all. We know what a great talent Ryan Williams was. I told you, and I've said it over and over again, I think he's the best high school football player in this state that these two eyes have seen or had the privilege of broadcasting. But Cam Coleman's not far from him. And those two guys already expected a lot out of him.
Luke?
Yeah, I think, Cam's already been in Tuscaloosa and for the state championship last year and had a big game. So he's certainly been there in that venue before. And now they're not really freshmen anymore.
Right.
I think that by this time of the year, you're not a freshman anymore. It's different. And so, it's going to be fun to see guys like that we have called, Malcolm Simmons being one of them, that you guys have called a gazillion times. He may play a pivotal role, who knows? So it's always one of those games. It is a little bit more special when home state guys do something big for the Iron Bowl. I think that is true.
Wade?
Well, you talk about the two coaches. That's been my theme all week. I think I've had some people try and bait me into conversations on other shows about the smack talk and try and make a bigger deal of it than it is. Like I said, it's just almost a laughable conversation. That's yesterday's wine, that story. The story all week is these two coaches, both of them desperately need a win here today, in my opinion, heading into next year. But I'll say this. I think unless Auburn just gets blown off the field in Bryant-Denny today, Auburn fans really have no choice. They'll have to grit and bear it again for about the 5th, 6th straight year of complete mediocrity at best, and hope for next year, because Auburn's really in no position to raise Cain about its coach right now, financially especially. But if if DeBoer loses this game today, and this is going back to this is what Andy Graham's always said when we were coming up. You dreaded losing it, and winning this game was more of just a relief. And that's what will happen today if Kalen DeBoer loses. Now, I can't speak for all Alabama fans. I follow the Tide pretty closely, and I'm married into an Alabama family. And I'm very thankful for that, too, by the way, here on Iron Bowl Saturday. We're all great citizens of this state, and it's a wonderful place and wonderful game. But I'm telling you, if he loses this game, that what you heard legend on Feinbaum is going to be times 100. And I'm not saying the wheels will come off in Tuscaloosa, because I'll never underestimate Alabama, ever. I've made that mistake before, but it's going to get hot for them, and that's a fact.
Luke, let me say this about that. The amount of pressure on Kalen DeBoer if he were to lose this game. I mean, this was what Alabama fans, I think you said for years on our shows, we don't know what we got, really. Once he's gone, we're going to find out. And Alabama hasn't sniffed 3 losses, much less 4, and Lord knows when. And if he comes in year 1 with a pretty doggone good football team and loses 4 football games and gets eliminated from a 12-team playoff when Alabama's been used to making it when there's only 4 teams, just your thoughts on that, the mentality of the program.
Yeah, I think it's a problem. I think in the end, the immediate reaction will be just like what Wade said. I think the longer-term reaction will be like, all right, let's see what happens with the guys that he brings in, his guys. Now, people always say Saban's guys are the best guys, and I think that's true. I mean, Saban was the best recruiter of all time, probably. But at the same time, I think Saban saw more of the writing on the wall than we give him credit for. I think he looked around and, the story is very famous about his having the exit meeting with everybody after the Michigan game, and everybody was talking about, what can I get paid next year, or where can I transfer? It wasn't anything like, how do we come back and win a title next year? And I think he realized even the bigger picture of that is like, well, this is going to affect everything. And instead of just, the national championship, this is going to affect the little games. Because if I can't get you to buy in, hey, Oklahoma's going to try and slap you in the face, Auburn's going to try and slap you in the face, then I'm not going to be able to win these games anymore. And I think Saban got out when the getting was good, and I don't blame him at all. I understand it totally. He had done enough. But there is going to be part of me that says, okay, let's wait and see if DeBoer gets some guys in here that, because he's recruiting very well. I mean, he's got the number 2 class in the country. Now he's getting a bunch of dudes that we don't know about. I mean, a bunch of dudes from California who happen to be 5 stars or high 4 stars, and that's wonderful. And I'm just going to be interesting to see how they translate into this conference. Saban's been doing it well, but Saban's the master. So let's see how that goes. But, I think this is going to be an eye-opening experience for him. I'm sort of like, I'm glad he's been to Tennessee. I'm glad he's been to LSU. Now, I mean, LSU did what LSU does. When you start beating them pretty good, they clear out very early. And they did. But the initial crowd was very difficult to him. The initial crowd at Tennessee was very difficult to him. And I say all that knowing we play in Tuscaloosa today, but I think the crowd is going to be interesting because the first time, if Auburn gets the ball first and makes a couple of first downs, I think you're going to hear a lot of grumbling. And it's going to be difficult for him to deal with that. I mean, while he's been in Washington, people forget, he needed a late pick 6 to beat Arizona State, who was not good last year. This version of Arizona State may go to the playoffs. Last year, they were 3-9. So I don't know how to explain it. You just got to go coach in it. I mean, there ain't no way to do it. But I think
it's baptism by fire.
It is. What you said, Andy said. I've said that for before. I mean, in the 90s.
Nobody enjoys this game. Fans.
I think Auburn fans get more fun out of winning than Alabama fans do, and I think Alabama fans feel more angst out of losing than Auburn fans do. Now, I'm 100% biased, but I can tell you, every time this game is over, all I go is thank God.
All right, guys. Let's go to our last break. We come back and we'll close this show out. I think everybody feels the same way at the end. You're like, I'm just glad it's over. Now we got to turn around. Just get it out. All right, stay tuned. One final segment coming up right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
The Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Don't have enough time to dive into the NIL talk that we were having during the break here on social media. But, Randy, I'll kick it over to you. I know you got a couple questions for Luke here before we get out.
Well, injuries. We've heard of some of the injuries, mainly Deontay Lawson. Are there any other injuries? And then maybe talk about the offensive line play, Luke, because whether we like to say it or not, that's probably where the game's going to be won on both sides of the ball. And there's been some major issues on the left side of that line for Alabama. And why is that, and your thoughts around it?
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line just hadn't been great. I mean, it's been okay. I was shocked as anybody when they were named on the Joe Moore Award watch list. I thought you'd have a better chance of finding the guy that John Dent was looking for earlier today than finding him on that list. But they just had – Elijah Pritchett had the worst game I've seen an Alabama offensive lineman have since Chris Capps in the Iron Bowl 2007. Wow. That's how bad it was. That's how bad – it was that bad. Can
he play like that today, Luke, please?
I don't know that he can. I used to say this when Chris Capps played in that game. I said I would rather put an empty garbage can out there and say, and at least then the Auburn player would have been like, why they got a garbage can out here? And it would have held him up for a second. But Elijah Pritchett this last week was propelling people into the quarterback. He was like giving them a push in the back to him. and I've never seen anything like it. And so while everybody was killing Milroe, and Milroe did not have a good game, it's hard when somebody's just right on top of you before the snap. You know what it reminded me of? You know the movie Wildcats? When that big offensive lineman just finally said, I'm just going to move out of the way and let some people go by because they weren't paying him enough.
Yeah, Auburn's had a bunch of them in the last 10 years. Luke, we've been watching that quite a bit. Ask Bo Nix how it worked out for him. All right, Wade, I'll kick it over to you. Some final thoughts. We got about 4 minutes left here in the show, and I'm getting my instructions from our boss in the studio of when I've got to get out, so I'm trying to make sure I do that. So just your final thoughts here.
I think it's going to be an old-fashioned Iron Bowl from the 80s. It's going to be a war. I think that Auburn keeps it within the number for sure. I feel a little bit more confident about Auburn after talking to Luke today. Thanks, Luke. Alabama.
We needed it after talking to Jason yesterday.
I mean, really, rank Mr. Rain on Our Parade, Caldwell, right in the Auburn Blitz.
Hey, I've been through enough therapy. I know how to give some back on the other
side. Here we are thinking Auburn's going to roll, and Jason Caldwell says we're done. So I think it's a race to 24. Regardless of the struggles and ups and downs of Jalen Milroe, I do still feel like all around, he is the X factor player in this game. And when you have that guy on your team, you have the advantage, Alabama being at home as well. I am interested in that crowd too up there. Are they going to be really fired up like an Iron Bowl normally, or are they going to be flat? I think that Alabama wins this game very late in dramatic form and rips Auburn's heart out again. But don't worry, Auburn fans. I do think that we finally have turned a corner and are moving in the right direction. I've got the Tide today, 24, Auburn 23.
I'm going to go the opposite. And normally I'm not the one to do this, but I'm going into an Iron Bowl where I'm not wanting to go to the golf course with Brett Pritchard to stay away from the television and not watch it. But I'm going to go with 86 score, 21-17 Auburn. Auburn's going to need 3 touchdowns and get plus 20 points to win it, but they've got to hold Alabama down and take the blueprint that was given a couple of times this year, mainly last week, and keep Jalen Milroe in the pocket and don't let him beat you with his legs. And Ryan Williams is going to have a couple of big plays. I think it's going to happen, but I hope it's not too many. So 21-17 Auburn.
All right, Luke.
I mean, all week I've been, and this is a complete homer because I just don't want to hear the comments pick. and I've said 27-24 Alabama. In my heart and in my head, I believe that Auburn wins a very close game. And, then it sort of see what goes from there. But, I guess my official stance, because it'd be sort of crappy for me to change my pick on every other show and then do something different here. But I'll go 27-24 Alabama. I don't feel good about it at all. I wouldn't bet on it. Don't want to stay near it. Don't even want to watch it. I'm going to go play golf myself. I don't even have any clubs. I'm just going to be walking down Inverness, just milling about.
Hey, just put the face up in front of you, and that way nobody knows. Hey, the scary thing is, Luke, I picked the same score, 27-24. I had 28-24 Auburn until Jason Caldwell called in, and I took a point off yesterday because I said that was worth at least minus 1 point after that. So, again, I've got 27-24. Justin said he's got 27-20 Alabama. John wants to know if he thinks or if we think that it'll go into overtime. We can't go into overtime because we got to get out right now. But, guys, it's been a great show here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. We want to thank everybody for watching out there, and we'll be back with you next week for another edition of Brady Bunch on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Landowners, farmers, and landscapers, it's time to fall back this fall at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor on Highway 280 in Alex City. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor has the year's best terms on almost all our Mahindra tractors. Now, get up to 84 months of 0% financing on Mahindra 1600 to 4500 series tractors. And package up with all your implement needs. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor also has 0% financing or up to $1,000 rebates on most 24 Spartan zero-turn mowers. The rates can't fall anymore at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.